turned out. Yeah, she turned. Hey. Hey, yo, what's good, you guys? Y'all already know who it is, man. It's Boomer with Bali Star, and today we are getting into the greatness of old kid shows. You feel me? So, I grew up, around that time. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of bomb shows out. Nothing like the shows today, bro. It's crazy. It's just crazy. You feel me? Like, when you realize how good you had it back then now, it's like, I'm glad to have lived in the era that I lived in. You feel me? Because I was smack dab in the greatness of, honestly, all the eras that have ever been. You feel me? From the 1930s all the way to the 1980s, going to the 1990s, you know what I'm saying? I was around that age, that range, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, once you grow up on these type of cartoons, bro, it's like, wow, this is so dope, man. They never had this, like, they never had it like this in the 80s. 80s has had it somewhat good, but not like, the 70s has never had it like this good. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, now I can say that even the 2000s, 2010s and up, 2010s, yeah, the 2010s have not had it as good as the 90s, bro. The 90s to the 2000s, 90s to the 2000s, you know what I'm saying, cut off at the middle of 2010 or something, was when we had the best kids entertainment, you know what I'm saying, on television. You feel me? Like, honestly, I still think you can't even get this type of content up on YouTube, bro. You feel me? Like, I don't know, because, like, again, there's like a bunch of creators out there, you know what I'm saying, so I can't get to every one of them, you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how many people use YouTube. I don't know how many people use YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Probably more than Facebook. I don't know. You feel me? But yeah. But honestly, though, man, we all know the shows that we watch on TV, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We all know the shows that are on there right now, and we all know that they cannot compare. They simply cannot, bro. So, yeah, man, let's get straight on into it, man. Make sure you leave a like just below the video, man. Subscribe if you're new. Join up with the all-star gang up in this thing. Let's get straight on into it, man. Let's get it.
Everybody that you need. Babies. Who doesn't love them? Oh, not me, but that's only because I'm grown now. Yeah, the only time when I liked babies was during the time when I was inside one. Wait. That's not what I meant. That sounds crazy. What I meant was when I was a literal baby myself. Like, we've all been inside babies before. Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant.
Why would he say, like, the inside baby? Like, what?
When you're a baby, you don't gotta worry about nothing. Someone's already feeding you, bathing you, strolling you around on the street, cleaning the doodle out your pants. You never have any responsibilities for yourself. Being a baby is the new 80. It's awesome. And since we were babies, when we weren't sleeping or swallowing the nearest lethal object, we were playing with toys or watching the preschool shows our parents put on the TV. They changed it to the children's channels. PBS, TBS, CBS, putting on the shows for us toddlers. Well, my parents didn't really do that. I would just watch whatever my siblings were watching, which was Cartoon Network and Disney Channel 99% of the time. And whatever my dad.
Man, we all know that real stuff was Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Disney was always a third choice for me, bro. No cap. I remember like it was yesterday, bro. I was like, always see what's on Cartoon Network first. See what's on Nickelodeon second. You know what I'm saying? If those two had pretty good shows, I'll flip back to back on them. You know what I'm saying? But Disney Channel was always a third option, son. You feel me? Like I swear, Nickelodeon and the Cartoon Network had commercials at that time. I flipped to Disney Channel. Sometimes they'll have some good. They have Proud Family. I'm like, dang. You know what I'm saying? And this was like before I even had the menu screen, the guide screen and stuff. So it's like you physically had to go to the channels to see what was on. You could not flip through the guide and be like, okay, this one's on, this one's on, this one's on. No, it's like you had to go to that channel and see what was on. So it's like, okay, I have Proud Family. It's like, shoot. Sometimes I get caught up in watching the episode. If it's so good, that's like I'll flip back to Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and my other, I won't say favorite show, but it's like I guess I'll say one of my favorite shows. You know what I'm saying? Like or just like a really good show, or maybe a good episode of that show. You know what I'm saying? Was playing on Cartoon Network. Sometimes I'll miss it because I was watching a good episode on Disney Channel. So it's like, It was tough. It was tough.
Watching. And he was not watching the most baby-friendly stuff. Like, literally, both me and my dad would fall asleep watching Friday the 13th or something on Showtime. Then at 4 a.m., I'd wake up to Showtime playing straight-up Korn on the channel. Not even a scene. Like, it's just a straight-up Korn movie. And I just stared at it. My balls were still in my stomach, so I ain't feel nothing. But when watching it, I felt like a industry baby, if you catch my drift. In short, I ain't watched that many kid shows. But when I did, I was watching what every other baby was watching. While babies nowadays are looking at their Coco Melon, we Gen Ziggers was watching classics. Classics in the making. The children's programming from back in the day of our babyhoods were some of the greatest. Educating us kids on valuable lessons, like go brush your teeth, or don't be an ass. And I wanted to use the Wayback Machine and reminisce on the very simple times of watching baby shows. Talk on how some of them were great, and how some of them were the back door to my nightmares.
Oh.
But I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna start this off with the channel that were all. But
that's how good these kid shows were, bro. They will leave you with nightmares. Like you actually watched a horror movie at 4 years old. It's like who approved these episodes, bro? Back then,
Disney Junior. Now, I'm not going to show that much footage because Disney sucks, but I remember when this channel became a thing. Like, I was like around 8 years old enough to realize the meaning of my existence, but not old enough to have common sense, so I still needed this educational channels. But honestly, thinking about it right now, I don't think I ever watched a show to be educated before. I for real watched a lot of kids' education shows back then, and I don't think I've learned a single thing from any of them. They were teaching us stuff that we already learned at school. Why the hell I need to repeat it at me? That's why back then I barely watched kids' shows that would ask you a question and wait 20 years for you to answer. It ruins my immersion of the show. I get less and less attached to the show when they hit me with fourth wall breaks. You ain't supposed to know I'm here. Like, who are you talking to? And after waiting 80 years of them just staring at you, waiting for you to answer, they just assume
you guys are just staring at each other like, it's like, I ain't answered. She just looks at you, you look at her, Dora, I mean, you're just like, that's right. It was in the bush. I'm like, this is stupid. I didn't say nothing.
Answer anyway. So why'd you ask me in the first place? Wasting my time. I had goals as a kid. I had stuff to do. And this show was just wasting my time.
I had video games to play. Watch other good shows. Oh yeah, I never watched Nickelodeon in the mornings. Those were Nick Jr. and all that.
Always watch. I remember watching Big Bear in the Big Blue House sometimes. Honestly, this show kind of scared me as a kid because the moon. It reminded me of that molester moon emoji. And that's the most I remember from the show. And I sadly wasn't a Wiggles guy either. But I heard a bunch of songs from them. And not gonna lie, they're pretty great. I've heard a bunch of songs from them. And after hearing them, I can tell you that this is one of the greatest bands of this generation. Of any generation. Every song from them makes you hype and go crazy. They're basically the Beatles if they were good. There was also Special Agent Oso. And really the only reason I attempted to watch this show was because Mr. Mosby was playing the wolf on the show, fulfilling my fantasies I had about him. But none of those shows were the main shows. The big three of my Disney Junior experience was Handy Manny, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and Little Einsteins. Not Dr. Stuffins. She ain't no real doctor. She can't give me or Sophia the First. That show's for Atlanta niggas. We all know the deal with Handy Manny.
11 right
Mexican dude with talking tools that can fix anything. From a boat to a chair, to your accident, you name it, we fix it. The characters were fun too, you know, there was this guy who was a complete loser, he had no hairline, he lived with his cat, he was always the butt of the joke, never had any bitches, easily the most relatable character on the show. I also remember them adding this new character, it was a flashlight, he only spoke Minion, I don't remember what language he spoke, but there was a character, it was a flashlight, he only the most relatable character on the show. I also remember them adding this new character.
Is this a Family Guy snippet of Handy Manny?
It was a flashlight. He only spoke Minion. I don't remember what language he spoke. But they was adorable. Every time they were on screen, they was just like cute, like a minion. Then the main man, Manny himself, just being a helpful, handsome guy. He had a girlfriend. At least I think that was his girlfriend. He always had everybody on his back. He was such a Chad. He was such a handsome man. He's just a dandy guy. I like it. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, an automatic classic for the opening and ending songs alone. You know that song, M-I-C-K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-C. Oh man, makes my balls hot. Especially that hot dog, hot diggity dog. Look at Goofy go. Do I need to say more? The only thing I remember this show messing up on was when they gave Toodles a face and a personality. Now he can talk and he can like communicate with us. I don't want this, man. He don't need to speak, bro. It's weird. Like look at him. He look creepy. Like if he could speak the whole time, then why didn't he say anything before? He's plotting something. I know it. And then there was Little Einstein. I just loved it because I'm a bit of a musician myself. You know, I can play piano, trumpet, the recorder, the triforce of instruments. And since I'm a musical genius, trumpet, the recorder, the
The heck is this? Sonic being Link. Was this an actual game or is this just a troll video?
And since I'm a musical genius, of course this show would appeal to someone like me. And honestly, I don't remember what they did on this show. Like, they had a ship, they were talking instruments. Dang, I think that's all I remember. I just remember loving it as a kid. And that theme song, you know, that old meme. They just don't make them like that no more. But Disney Junior was a great entertainment and education source for children back then, especially me. But it wasn't my favorite. Moving on to a channel that I liked more as a kid, in terms of baby shows, Nick Jr. Nick Jr. I have a lot more memories of as a kid, even though they had some dookie butt shows like Dora and the more boring Diego. But everything else was pretty good. Wonder Pets was pretty lit, although that turtle could go chug a bottle of piss. I still hate turtles. The Backyardigans. Everybody loved this show. And the animals, Tanisha, Pablo, Bart, Jesse, and James. I don't remember their names, but it was such a fun show. You know, the backyard was always transforming and getting new settings like every single episode. I loved it. My favorite episodes were the jungle episode and the western episode. Max and Ruby. Now, I got mixed feelings on this. I used to watch this show a lot. Like, I enjoyed the show as a kid, but I didn't really like Max all that much when I was young. I didn't really know any better back then. I just saw him.
Dude, the way they walked annoyed me.
It's gross. There's worms in it, bro. Why are you making that? It wasn't until
they were walking, dragging their ass on the floor everywhere.
That I realized that Max was just having fun, man. He was just a young kid, just having fun, playing with his toys, making cakes. He was just doing his thing. The real villain of this show, it was Roby. I'm not gonna get too in detail because then I'll just be stealing this guy's content. Shout out to him. But let me say this. If I was in a room with a bow and arrow, with only 2 arrows, and there was me, Ruby, I don't even care who else is there. I'm gonna shoot Ruby twice. Blue's Clues was pretty cool too. You know, I like the cat. I like the box characters. My man Steve was drawing like Picasso with just a crayon. The show was nuts until Steve left to buy some cigarettes. What does the new Steve look like again? Who the fuck is this Peppa Pig? I didn't really watch it because it was British and I was more of a Olivia kind of guy. But I'll admit it, the Peppa Pig album.
When I first saw that picture, bro, oh my! Like I was like, dude, is that real? Where is it?
I was more of a Olivia kind
of. Like, is that an actual cow? Like,
what? But I'll admit it, the Peppa Pig album. It's pretty fire. Like, unironically, it's better than Honestly Trash. And I ain't gonna forget the GOAT.
Honestly Trash.
I didn't really watch it that much, but my brothers loved it, and the characters look nice. Biz Marquee is in, like, every episode beatboxing, and DJ Lance is so into his character in the show that he's still in his character over 10 years after the show ended. So that's dedication right there. But yeah, I ain't really watched this show as a kid. The most I got from it was that one episode from South Park where Fufa became a thought. That's the most I ever got from it. And my personal favorite Nick Jr. show was Little Bill. Now, ignoring the controversies, this show taught me so many things. Like how to talk to girls, how to ask a girl out, and the secret to getting any girl. And thanks to this show, I can say these tips changed my life for the better. Because of these tips, every time I move into a new home, I have to introduce myself to my female neighbors. And under state law, I basically have to tell them how good I am with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm the Riz God, all because of Little Bill. All right, moving on from that, I want to talk about my actual favorite shows from back when I was a kindergartner. And back then, I was a huge fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. I love this show so much. It's just It's just something about him. I was addicted to this show. Like, actually, I owned DVDs, had so many train sets and toys. I even wore Thomas the Tank Engine undies. I was wearing this man on my balls. You cannot tell me I'm a fake fan. You can't call me gay either. He's a train. Let him run a train on me. I really do love Thomas the Tank Engine. I consider it a very big part of my babyhood. I think the reason I like this show so much was because that it was a very chill show. Nothing would happen in your face. The comics would always be in the island of Sodor with the trains doing the task that Sir Toppin Hat would tell them to do. And then a small hiccup happens and then they solve it, learning a lesson maybe in the process. Simple. It was a very simple, chill show, and I like trains. The interactions were always very sweet, and when they weren't, you know when shit was going down. But they would always make amends at the end. This was a show just trying to tell a simple story each episode. It's not like those other baby shows that would constantly break the fourth wall and just start singing out of nowhere or asking you, do you know what 5 plus 5 is? My favorite color, green. Like, bro, lick my nut and bro. I hate shows like that. Sometimes us kids just want to be entertained like the grown-ups. We don't want to get constantly talked down to in shows. We already get enough of that in real life. Why would we want that in our entertainment?
Dude, honestly, bro, I'm so glad you said that, bro. I always found that shit super annoying, bro. Like, honestly, I love it in, like, movies like Deadpool and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, like, it's more adultish. But when it's kids, it's super cringe, bro. Like, I've always thought those shows were super cringe, bro. Like, freaking the Ask You shows, the Sing shows. I still think, like, Disney movies, like, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like watching Disney movies all that much, man. I honestly got a few favorites. Lion King, Tarzan, you feel me? Now the rest of them were, like, I mean, singing was good. Songs weren't that bad, but it's like, I don't know, man. I guess Disney can stick to it. I'm just saying I don't personally like that stuff. And when they start doing it in kids shows, I mean, honestly, some kids shows were honestly dope to pull that off. But yeah, most, man, were just like,
Thomas did have learning segments where they would ask us kids questions, but it would be in between episodes. Not the actual episode would have it. It would never get in the way of the actual plot of the episode. This is why I kind of liked Arthur as a kid too, because it ain't interrupt you in the middle of the episode with random questions. We was just enjoying ourselves, learning not to swear, and definitely not wanting to learn.
I don't even like watching Arthur that much either,
Arthur
though.
Was great. I still don't understand that racism episode, though. I thought it was just animals in this universe, but black people exist too, apparently, and get unfair treatment from the police. But there was no other races that were mentioned, so is it the animals that are the ones being racist? Is it just black people and animals in this universe? What does an interracial baby look like? Okay, I'm gonna stop asking questions. Back to Thomas. I also love how the show only has a narrator. Narrating and doing every voice in the show. I loved it. It made the show feel more common and soothing. I even remember when Alec Baldwin was the narrator for season 5. He was great too. You just had to wear a bulletproof vest every time you watched the show. Not to mention the music. It's out of this world. It has no reason to being that great. And it wasn't just a few good ones here and there, you know, a few good bops. No. Every single one. I'm serious too. Every song sounds like it could be one of those classic Disney songs from back in the day. They just are so catchy and so good to sing along to. And accidents will happen. One of the greatest songs of all time. Top 100. Not even fibbing. Listen to it yourself. It's like in 1984 when the show was created. The music team for this show was like, yo, let's only drop classics for the next 20 years, like we're Kanye West or something. And the whole team responded, who the hell is Kanye West? But they did it anyway. These guys deserve all the Grammys. And that iconic intro. Nobody has forgotten that. This is genuinely one of the greatest kid shows of all time. The amount of nostalgia and pure bliss and joy I get from this show. Oh man, it cannot be matched. This show is amazing. It is fantastic. Or should I say, was. Because as soon as they went CGI, it was downhill. And only downhill. I was appalled when they switched to...
I mean, of course.
Oh, travel. How we
shouldn't be surprised.
Except for the neck aches. The sore.
style. This happened back in 2009 when I was 6 turning 7. And even back then I hated it. I was all like, why are their mouths moving now? Why are the people moving? Why do they have their own voices? It changed so much. I avoided this new version every time I saw it on TV. I missed it when they were actual toys and it was in reality.
Living it with the hair.
This is just weird. It's unnatural seeing them like this. I always hated when kids shows would switch their style just to look more modern. Just look at Bob the Builder. For years, he was looking good. He was looking nice because he was in stop motion. Look at Bob go. Woo! Okay, let's see what Bob the Builder looks like now. Boots check, tool belt check, hard top check. Who the hell is that? That is definitely not Bob. That dude's name is Bertram. That is not Bob. That is not the same man that I knew from my childhood. Crazy. This is not my Bob. They doing the same thing with Thomas. It's horrifying. And that ain't even the worst of it. You know the music? How I said it was one of the best songs of all time. You know, it should win all the BET Hip Hop Awards. It's so ass now. Oh my goodness. They changed the whole vibes of the songs. But it sounds so terrible, man. It used to be a choir of kids singing. And now it's just... Listen to this. A special day with all your friends. Seems like it will never end. This is trash. Who thought of this, bro? And the new intro is even worse, man. Listen. Let's go, go, go on a big world adventure. This is not Thomas sounding music. This shit sound like Paul.
It's not bad, though. I mean, really listen to it.
Listen.
And trust me, man. Most of the music that's been played so far, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even say nothing, no, but I'm going to say something on this one. Let's go, go, go on a big world adventure. I mean, as much as kids shows go, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not really that bad. It's not really that bad, you know?
This is
but then again, I need to hear the whole song. But so far,
I like
heard
Paw
off of
Patrol,
this.
Bro. I can't believe they massacred Tony like this, bro. And this is not the reason why I wore you on my balls, man. This is not the show I used to love and enjoy. Stop trying to appease to these kids and appease to me, a grown-ass man. Appeal to me. They ruined it, man. They ruined it. They really turned Thomas the Tank Engine into that freaking bootleg rip-off Thomas the Tank Engine Chuggington. This is honestly one of the worst things that ever happened in humanity. And since I'm over here whining about this children's show, let me talk about one final show real quick. A show that I only remember watching once in my childhood, but that one time alone left a scar that still remains to this day. I was in elementary school, staying up a little late one night, and on a TV, it was on Nick Jr., 24/7 baby content playing all the time. And at around midnight, this new show came on. It was called Oobi. This show was a hand puppet show, but unlike Sesame Street or any other hand puppet show, it was just hands. This show gave me so... Alright, I'm gonna cut the bullshit. The show ain't even that scary. I don't even know why I found this show scary as a kid. It's just hand puppets. Maybe it's their creepy eyes, I don't know. But I'm not gonna try to hype it up to be like scary. I'm gonna sound like one of those like SpongeBob Theory channels or whatever. It's also because this show made me raise a lot of questions. Like, how do they eat? How do they swallow their food? Where does it go? How do they use the bathroom? Do they have holes? How do they fight? How are their eyes attached to their hands? How do they put on rings? When they high-five each other, did they just kiss? Did they just have intercourse on screen? How do they even do it in this universe? And if they do it, do they wear gloves for protection? So, how do they wear
Not the
and
robot.
If they do it, do they wear gloves for protection? So, how do they wear the gloves? Wouldn't that just cover their eyes? Where do their bodies end? There's actual people in this universe. What do they see below their hands? How do they drive cars in this universe? What is pushing the gas pedal?
How did you get this deep into the show, bro? Like, they're freaking hands. You think that there are hands? Like that's the most obviously fake show ever. Like, just wonder how hands eat. And like, well, try putting your hand in some food. Does it eat? Like, come on, bro. How is this gonna be so deep, bro?
How does anything get done? One time I'll put.
I'm sorry, bro. I just had an instinct to do that. I'm like, bro, who wants to hear about how do these hands eat? How do these hands dry?
And I hope no kid had to experience the nightmares I did because of this show. Wild. I've grown a lot since I was a jit. I'm never saying that again. I've grown in hair, length, size, but most importantly, I've grown in mind. And I don't think I would be the person I am today if it weren't for these children's shows. Well, mostly only Thomas and Little Bill, but the rest were here too. If I forgot to mention a show, I just didn't watch it as a kid. That's just the way it turned out for me. I love reminiscing about old times and old childhood memories. It makes me feel less old. And since we're towards the end of the video, I did not expect this video to be as long as it is. But that just shows how dedicated I am to this topic. And in conclusion, free Bill Cosby! It starts with one.
The troll, man. Alright, you guys, so that was the greatness of kids shows. Honestly, I thought I was really wrong. I thought he was gonna be talking about like 90s Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows, along with Disney shows. I thought it was gonna be like all that. No, he really went to the baby shows. I was like, okay. One I remember watching was Barney. It's crazy to say now, but it's like, yeah, I was really watching that. Barney, Teletubbies, Sesame Street. I watched a couple episodes of that. But now I was mostly watching like Cartoon Network shows that, you know what I'm saying, during the afternoon, you know what I'm saying? What's it called? Like, now, Cartoon Network shows always had like those type of cartoons. Nickelodeon had Nick Jr. in the morning, and I'll barely watch that. But going back to the Kitty show, like it's Dora the Explorer, I couldn't get into Diego. But I mostly just watched like Cartoon Network shows because they played throughout the whole day. There were 24-hour of greatness of like kid shows, like, you know, kid like, okay, like older kid shows. So yeah, and those are like 24/7. So always watching that. The baby shows then just didn't appeal to me. I mean, honestly, it's like I don't even know what age I was when I started watching Cartoon Network, but trust me, like all I can remember from then was just going from Barney, Teletubbies, you know what I'm saying, and some Tom the Engine as well, straight into Dexter's Laboratory, freaking Ed, Edd n Eddy, Powerpuff Girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Like it went straight to that. It skipped all that other stuff he was talking about. Because I'm pretty sure there were there were levels to this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Y'all let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section down below, man. Y'all know it's Boom World Bali Star, man. Make sure you leave that like just below the video, man. Subscribe if you're new. Join up with the All-Star gang up in this thing. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. 100. Ooh!